All right, let's go ahead and start this afternoon session. Welcome, guys. It's 2:32 here, just a few minutes past the what we have about 30 minutes to possible rally or move down into some of these supply and demand zones. So before we get started, let's go over the day. So we really did have an amazing day here, and for me, that meant a lot of trades, right? So I'm a little exhausted, to be quite honest with you. We're kind of just in this channel and we'll talk about that just here in a few minutes. What the channel looks like, it really comes down to the 4 hour. We know that in the weekly we came into some demand, but the 4 hour is the channel. Okay, so I sent out a tweet a little bit earlier, kind of highlighting our trades from today. We had many winners. We have a few to be determined, but the few that are down right now are, Amazon, which is only down about let's see here, 8%. These are options. I have very long-term positions and pins, which is about 149 days out with the 17 March 20 calls. And then I have TTD, which is still positive. These actually hit 20% after the day we bought them. They're 93 days out, and I have the 65 calls on TTD. Now that's for my swing position. So I always get the question, whether or not we do swings. I actually think that swing trading in this environment is fine. It's just about, being patient and wait until we get to that higher time frame demand zone or trendy edge, right? Moving on down, as far as like close positions today, we have, let's see here. We did some ES. I made money on ES futures. I did not include that in my tweet. BAC, we had Disney, great trade there that Melissa called out. We took that trade. Google, I got stopped out on some equity. Netflix came in long on that, sold out for about 70+%. Oxy, another great trade by Melissa this morning that we took. That was a beautiful trade, actually. QQQ, I got a little fancy with it. I sold some credit spreads. It was doing just great. It popped, so I bought back the short side, and unfortunately, it just ended up going right back down. So a little choppy conditions. SPX made almost 100% there. Took that trade probably just about 2 hours ago, and I'll show you that here in a second. And then SPY sold a lot of call credit spreads on the open. That was the plan as we were anticipating some resistance. We did that twice today and made money. We also bought back the short side and made money on that as well. So that was beautiful. Then we took Tesla and we sold those at 420. Did that on purpose, and that was an easy scalp for us to trade, and that was fun. All right. Now that leaves me again. I have Costco. I'm short, meaning I shorted via call credit spreads. And that's all we have going on right now. So overall, really looking forward to tonight to see what Tesla can bring to the table. Let's go ahead and get on with it and talk about what I expect into the close here. So the SPX is basically in a channel, and we can see that by just looking at the ES futures. Okay, and so if we come over to the ES futures, we'll take a look here. Let's go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to take you through this weekly into the daily and so forth so we can see what to expect here. All right. So really nice rally on Monday, right? The problem is that we were getting very close to the trendy edge and the cloud. This cloud is resistance until proven otherwise. Matter of fact, it's a great place to put on a hedge or start trimming out of your long positions. You can see last week we held at 35.06 that we were looking for. It held. And then we went inside and up. So we have an inside candle here, up formation here, and led us right into this blue level, which is the trendy edge. This is our automated levels that find supply and demand. This is demand that turns supply. Okay. And again, the cloud is confluent with that edge, which this is resistance until proven otherwise. So our blueprint, looking at this resistance, we have support down here. We're just kind of in a holding pattern until we start to see more names report and kind of see what the forecast is. Okay. If for some reason we break over resistance, what we'll be looking for is 38.19 and then that next trendy edge at around 38.84. Okay. So again, that's what we're looking at there as far as the weekly is concerned. Now moving on to the daily, same thing. You can see that we came into an inside and down formation. And once again, you guys can watch that on YouTube. I have a nice 4 or 5 minute video that you guys can see there. And that's going to help you out and be able to identify those patterns. And then we trade around those, okay? So the daily, just like the weekly, pushed up into resistance, and another reason why we started to trim. But notice that price did come into our trigger long today, and so we found that support this morning. So I feel like trading was pretty straightforward today. I didn't find it difficult. I found it difficult to be patient, meaning you want to see more, trend, obviously. So when I say patient, we were patient on our entries. And so we did good trading. I'm just saying, as a trader sitting in front of the screen, it's better to get away. Well, it's really cold here in Florida today. We're used to very hot weather. But we woke up at 44 today, so I decided to stay in with everybody, and here I am. But this is all working. We're just kind of digesting, so please understand that. When does the digest period come? Well, when we have a move up or down, okay, and it's a pretty exhausting move, meaning, those first 2 days we're looking at about 200 points in the ES futures, which equates to about $20 in the SPY. And, that's not normal. So, like I was telling everybody yesterday, when a car is driving at, 10,000 RPMs, right, you got to let it cool down. That's what's going on here. So the market's just kind of cooling down. It's finding support. There's a lot of like stupid catalysts that are coming out with news and, a lot of FUD. And I just can't stand that stuff. So we don't use news. We specifically use these indicators, supply and demand, my levels, and we trade mechanical. Okay. And so I stay away from all that. And if you have a hard time trading and you are paying attention to that kind of information, believe it or not, no matter what you tell yourself, I guarantee you that there's a piece of that in your brain that will not allow you to execute properly. Okay, so try your best to learn the most you can off of technicals, and let me show you a really nice process using those technicals so that you can kind of ditch all that stuff. Okay, so look here. Uh, what we're getting at is the 4 hour. This is probably the most important um, chart, I think, because all we're doing is simply trading in a channel. And I think that sometimes we lose sight of that, right? And so traders come in and they always have like a different thesis every day. This is a good reminder to tell people, nothing has changed. All right. We came from a big move down. And just like when we move up and we digest, well, the bigger move has been down this year. And so we are simply digesting here into an earnings season. Okay. Now, when I say high on the curve and low on the curve, what I'm relating to here is that this channel, this would be high on the curve. Okay. Down here would be low on the curve. And our job is to be looking to go long. The closer we get lower on the curve. And as you can see, if I were to take a yellow line here and just kind of go through the middle, this would be considered don't diddle in the middle. And I know a lot of you traders have heard that before. And that's why we're having a hard time finding trend today. All right. So once again, I hope this really breaks it down and kind of gives you that visual of understanding where we are in relationship to high on the curve versus low on the curve. Now, what you'll find is you find demand lower on the curve and you find supply higher on the curve. And again, we're finding it by using trendy edges, candle formations, those type of things. And that really helps us understand where we want to be when the market opens. Okay. So once again, market opens towards the top here. Be cautious. This was our blueprint coming into this morning. We almost opened up towards resistance here the other day. And we knew, if you're going to go long, you have to be willing to take trades off a little bit faster than normal. If you have the lotto type mentality, that's okay. All right. If you have the mentality that you want to make a lot of money, then it's not okay, because on the up move, if you're choosing to take that call side, you need to be real particular about your entries. It's better risk to reward if you're buying lower on the curve versus trying to buy high on the curve. Okay. Matter of fact, when price pushes up into resistance, if you could do credit spreads, I highly recommend that you go out and learn, call your broker and figure out if you can trade those. And once you learn how to trade those, come and see us and I'll give you some great plans and levels to trade around. Okay. So right here, we called call credit spreads this morning. That's what we wanted to do. We got that breakdown. And the cool thing about call credit spreads is you're going to make money when market breaks down. You're going to make money when it goes sideways. And then in most cases, you'll make money if you know what you're doing. When the price actually moves against you, you buy back the short side and then you try to drive that to the upside. Okay. So I love that approach when we are not too sure. It's for me, it's almost like a neutral strategy. I'd rather sell credit when I feel neutral inside. Okay. So what can we expect? On the close, I think that ever since SPX 0 DTE came into effect, it's really difficult for a lot of traders, right? Like we had an amazing win, I think last Friday. It was 300%. It's a very nice trade on butterflies. Got very close to pinning. I went ahead and closed it, I think, just a few minutes before the close. But to be very, very transparent, I made this joke the other day. It reminds me of going to a craps table and calling for boxcars. If you don't know what boxcars, it's when you shake the dice and you want 12 to appear. So two sixes, all right? And your odds of a 12 showing are 1 in 31. So when you start looking at odds and then thinking about how many times you're trying to hit that and it doesn't work out for you, by the time you do hit it, did you actually make money? So just always keep that in mind. If you're trying to pin at the close, just understand that your probabilities are really low. It should be a fun trade, and I don't want you to get overexcited about it. In many, many cases, we're spending underneath $1 and we're looking for anywhere from a 4 to 10x trade. Okay. With the variable being, hey, this is what I pay for it, and I'm okay if it goes to 0. Okay. Again, just a fun trade. So as we get close to the close, a lot of traders are taking their time and trying to figure out what the SPX will do. All right. Well, we come over here. I'm going to take you into my trading view. All right. And let's go ahead and bring this over here. There we go. And we're going to pull this up. And this was the blueprint that basically when we opened up here today, this is what you were looking at. Okay. Now I entered my SPX trade right here. This is, believe it or not, this is a 1 minute chart. And the reason why I have a 1 minute chart on, and guys, I use a quarterly chart, a weekly, and a monthly. I use those charts to trade with. But on a sideways day, my 1 minute chart, my signals specifically, work really, really well for me. Okay. And so what I'm looking for here was momentum change. All right, so we went from red to white to green. And as soon as we broke over the cloud and we went from a white to green, I went ahead and entered that trade. I gave the room some targets. I took the other target off. We came up and smacked that target. That's where I got out for close to 100%. And then as you can see, price here on a 1 minute chart. This is insane, right? So I get it. I've been around for a long time. I used to remember when people would say anything under 5 minutes, I would cringe. All right. So, but these are great, or it is a great system to use when we're choppy, because really what we're doing is just intraday and kind of scalp trading here. Okay. So notice that I identified an inside and up formation. Again, that video is on my YouTube page, and I expect prices, as long as we're making lower highs, to come into this box. Okay. So as price gets lower here, we'll be looking to see if we can get some bids right off of this box. And I'm going to go ahead and place a target here. I like to come up just a tad there. And then I'll go ahead and put this here. So this is a zone, right? You'll see a lot of zones on Twitter. A lot of folks don't know what they're doing. I myself take a lot of pride in the fact that I was able to learn supply and demand trading from Online Trading Academy way, way back in the day, years ago. And they definitely have to say that their instructors, a lot of their instructors, did very, very well as being some of my mentors. Okay. So back then, I learned a little bit from them and kind of put my own stuff together and really studied the market and came up with an awesome process to be able to automate levels and so forth. And really, like, think around trading as if you were an institution. You know what I mean? So how do institutions think? That's probably the most important part. I feel like anybody can identify a zone, but it does take time. So I don't mean any disrespect towards that. Just because you watch a quick video on how to find these formations does not make you a good trader. All right. It takes many, many years to kind of perfect the idea of thinking like a trader, okay? Or an institution, my apologies, as an institution. And institutions, they think differently, right? The idea is that the catalyst that you hear, if you are one who listens to news, your friends, any sort of information like that, you find yourself making decisions based off of that, right? So that catalyst either creates FOMO or it creates fear. And when it does that, you react, and bigger money is very patient. So the patience lies in the zones, okay? And so you need to wait for your zones to hit, all right? So I watched some traders today, not over here at Trendy, but in general, lose money because they speculate. Speculation comes between your levels. Do you see what I'm saying? And I understand that some of you out there may go, well, you're speculating, that price will come down here into this zone. Well, notice that I'm not reacting. I'm not buying anything. I'm just sitting here patiently waiting for this zone to get hit. And if my zone doesn't get hit, I don't take the trade. Does that make sense? So I'm not taking the trade. No setup, no trade. So this is where we want to stay really, really patient. All right. So do I get mad? Heck no. Never, because we have so many trades that work out during the day that we're very proud of. We don't have to stretch it. We have nothing to prove, right? At this time of day, it's more about just kind of, teaching, giving a little bit of education going into the close and making you and helping you understand what it is that either can save you money by not executing, right? Especially during chop. And giving you a little bit more insight of where you can get better as a trader. Okay. So right now, one of your first signs that you're going to come into chop. Okay. And I'm going to teach you this. So please write this down in your journal or next to your desk. Get yourself a pen and paper. So this morning, we use what's called the PMZ. The PMZ has made us lots and lots of very nice trades. All right. Not only today, but almost every single day. And we're very proud of that. And I want to show you, okay, I want to show you what that looks like on the chart. So I'm going to take you over here. I'll take you over here to ES futures. Okay. So we traded this today, and you can trade SPY off of this. You can trade SPX off of this. You can use all that just by using these indicators. Okay. So the first trade today, I make it really simple. I come in the morning, and what I talk about is, where these numbers are, okay? And then I have a risk that is associated with this trade. And before you think about this trade, I need you to understand you need to be extremely mechanical, okay? Mechanical means we don't think, we just execute once we understand the strategy. So the strategy is we go long over the top of the PMZ, and then we trim into targets that I've already laid out or that members have already laid out because I teach them how to do this, okay? So once they see the blueprint, and we do this before the market opens, which is really, really important because I want to make sure that when you come in here and you learn how to trade, that you're not just sitting around waiting to be fed something. That's not how this works. Trendy is about teaching and educating, but also showing you proof of concept by seeing my alerts coming straight from my brokerage account into the room. That's the proof of concept that what I teach is what I actually do. Whether that's a winner or a loser, I follow the process, okay? So notice here that price moves out of the PMZ. And if for any of you don't know anything about ES futures, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and teach you. For every 10 points, that equals $1 in the SPY. That's all you need to know, okay? ES futures, for every point, is $50, okay? So you start adding that together, you're like, man, why is that so much? It's because when you put on one contract of ES futures, you are leveraging 500 shares of SPY. Now, if you were to go into the market today and pay for SPY, and you were to buy 500 shares, how much would that cost you, right? And we don't need to do math here, guys, but just take the share price and times that by 500, and you will see that it costs you a lot of money. So what people do is they leverage a lot by using ES futures. Okay. So in this case, when you go bid above 37.10 this morning, and that was our plan, you see that price moves up into the 37.32. This was one of our targets. You could do the math. 20 points, that's $1,000 a contract. Okay. 20 points is $2 in the SPY. So buying at the money, SPY calls, or whatever you have there, you can see how well this will pay you. Now, my plan was once price moved up into these targets, I actually started selling call credit spreads on the SPY. So basically, I sold a call here and then I bought a call back here to protect myself. Once price dropped down from here and started to move down towards the PMZ, I then covered for profits. Okay, that's how that works. As a matter of fact, I actually did it right here. So, and then we came down here, cover for profits, and then I bought back the short side, and then you start to ride the long side. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, towards the end of the day, this is really fun. Notice how many times the PMZ works, okay, for several points. Our risk was only 4 points today, all right? Once we broke down, okay, once we broke down below the PMZ, notice how well this paid off as well. We also hit our points to the downside. Waking up into tomorrow, you're going to look back and go, holy cow, right? We're able to make money to the upside and downside. Now, I had a question, and this was awesome. If you guys don't know, I also teach over at Simpler Trading, okay, with John Carter and his team there. But I had a question today, and price pushed up into the PMZ. And before it even got there, I love this. Somebody had asked me a question about right here. And he said, John, can we go ahead and short the PMZ? And I said, yes, one could short the PMZ. But just note that your stop is still right here. Okay. Now I rounded that up and I said 4.25. You can see the reaction here, folks, how well that worked. So once again, if you want to do the math, you can see here 37.05 into around 36.90. Okay. Again, another 10 plus points, $500 plus dollars. And you can see it worked here again. Okay. Now, after each time we test this, you need to understand it gets weaker and weaker. See how it gets weaker and weaker, and then it breaks down. The idea here is to be very mechanical and take the trade. Don't think about it. Don't listen to news. Okay. Now we did this on plenty of trades today. All right. I'm going to go ahead and show you the first one. We'll do Oxy. And again, this is due to Melissa. She's one of our newest traders over at Trendy Trading, and she's amazing. And basically, she had a idea to go long over the PMZ. That's what we did. A matter of fact, I would probably say this is trendy right here. This is all of us having a good old time. And we're already making money and trimming here. And then I think we kept some runners on, came back up, we trimmed again, and then we stopped out. All right. And so that was an amazing trade. Disney, another great trade. Let's go over here. You can see here. Okay. Matter of fact, we bought Disney. I want to say we bought Disney here. Melissa might have added here and here. I bought somewhere around here, and then we closed here. Okay, very nice trade as well. Now notice, what if we just wanted to just concentrate on Disney this morning? Okay, you could have made money to the upside very quickly. All right, and then once we broke below the PMZ, you could have done really well on the put side. All right, so if you're wondering what that looks like today, guys, on Disney, this itself 123 by 99.7. It's about 30 cents a risk. All right, and you can see once we broke down at 99.96, price came all the way down to 98.60. So again, the risk versus reward is really, really nice trading these PMZ trades. Okay, and again, this is our go-to. And I tell you what, it is straightforward. It tells us what we want to do before the market opens. Again, very important because we have like this regiment, right? We already have the numbers. We're ready to take the trades. I teach you in some of my videos that are even out there on YouTube how to set your options up before you even get started for the day so you don't have to scurry around. But what's really cool about what we do is that every day, 30 minutes before the open, we are going to cover the trades we're going to take. Okay. So again, you're going to be prepared. I get a lot of questions and a lot of people who have unfortunately not been doing well in the market. And a lot of it has to do with not being prepared. Or some people feel like because they work, they won't have the time to trade. I can't disagree with you more. We are already prepped at Trendy. That's what separates us from most of everyone else, okay? Because we're giving you the education that you need, but we're also giving you the charts, the entries, the triggers, the short triggers, and so forth. And it's really plain and simple. Okay. And then we teach you about how to um, allocate, and how to use stops appropriately and understand what your loss is going to be before you even take the trade. Okay. So please understand that. So we're all about teaching you that very important stuff. Okay. So, as we get closer to here, and I don't have time to go over all the trades, but man, we had quite a few trades on the win side today. And I encourage you to go out there to Twitter to Trendy John and check them out. And then you can see a little bit more of what I was talking about. Okay. Now, we didn't come down into the zone, but we got damn close, and that's okay that we didn't. This was possible for today. I know that a lot of people are gunning for the 3,700 level. But, I feel like when people are gunning for a round number, especially with zero DTEs, it's very difficult to hit. What's really cool about TradingView is you have a timer and it tells me how long until this candle will close. Okay. So right now, if you're gunning for 3,700, then you are looking, okay, that you need to do it in 33 seconds. So I really like this timer over here. And folks, for my folks that are in here, I'm going to trim Amazon one more time, almost at break even here, just because we have Tesla coming up, and you know, I don't want to have too much in there. So you guys could hear that ding in the back. And again, what separates me from almost everyone out there is as soon as I take that trade, our members can see that trade in the room immediately. I don't have to write anything. I don't have to explain anything because the explaining was done in the education. Everybody knows why we're taking a trade. And so I feel like, that's what really makes us stand out. So far as tomorrow goes, let's see what Tesla's going to do. All right, so let's see what this should be fun. All right, let's see what Tesla wants to do. And we actually took Tesla, by the way. I took it down on some kind of, signal. Let's see what it wants to do. I want to look at a bigger picture though. Let's go to 4 hour. These were the levels that I'm looking for. Okay. So to the downside, folks, I feel like we can see. Let's make sure we have the trendy edge down here. Don't know what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, right there. I think just go ahead and turn those on really quick. Yeah. So we could see prices move down on a big move down. I would expect 210 by 205 to hold. Okay, 210 by 205 to hold. And to the upside, we could see upwards towards 230 to 240. Let's go ahead and see how those numbers pan out. Okay. And we'll just kind of sit here for a few minutes and see what's happened. Can I get a verification? Do you guys know here in member chat? Um, yeah, I'm sure ES is pushing through the PMZ now, finally, right? It's when the market closes. So everybody that's pinning for 3,700, they lose their money. This is my recommendation to you guys out there if you're into butterflies. The masses are all picking like the same numbers, guys. Come down a little bit, and for the put side, come up a little bit, if that makes any sense. Are these guys reporting right after the bell? Yeah. So if we come back over to the ES and check it out. Yeah. See how we stalled right at the PMZ? Too funny. We also had an oil trade that we gave out today that pushed up over $1.40 or $1,400 a contract there. That was really nice. Let's go back over here to Tesla to see what the hell they're doing. I mean, I traded Tesla in and out very quickly, and then I have some call debit spreads to the upside. So I'm looking for the upside. If it doesn't happen, we're okay with that. I prefer debit spreads on earnings. Okay, but you can see here, this is the PMZ, by the way, folks. I can't make this stuff up. Um, I feel like we have not only the best process, but the best levels out there. And I stand behind that as the proof of concept is in my alerts and in the visuals here on the screen. Anyways, we'll see if these guys can continue to move up. I don't want to sit here too long, so we'll stop streaming from YouTube right now, but we'll continue here in the room, guys.